Hello and welcome to the Relocation Clarity Masterclass, brought to you by the Relocation Maven. In this class, you will discover the clarity within you to make informed, empowered, and fearless decisions on your relocation journey. Before we get rolling, there are 3 things that I need you to do right now in this moment and throughout your clarity and relocation process. Number 1, leave the guilt trips at the door. You are one step further in your journey. Trust me, putting yourself or allowing anyone else to put you on a guilt trip will only leave you stuck. Number 2, be honest with yourself, as you will allow yourself to become emotionally available to you, emotionally open to yourself, into your feelings, into your views. And that may mean healing some trauma. That may mean facing the reality of your situation, facing the reality of your emotional and interpersonal and professional and income challenges as well as strengths. Number 3, leave your fears at the door. Yes, relocation can be scary, right? Because it's unknown. For some of you, you may be leaving family and friends. For others, you may be moving towards a spouse or to be closer to family and friends. And maybe you have an opportunity for your professional career, traveling, and learning new things. So yes, it can be fearful and it can be scary. However, you are stronger than you give yourself credit for. Now, let's get to some housekeeping. If you have not pulled up your digital fillable copy of your workbook, please do so now, or if you have it printed. However, if you don't have it available right now while you are listening to this pre-recorded class, it is okay. You can always get to the workbook, because in the workbook, it goes deeper. It teaches you the tools that you need to be able to identify and to be able to come up with your why and get the clarity you need on a deeper level. Again, welcome. Finding clarity can be a process as you take a deep look at your life in this moment and how you want to be able to step into your purpose. Gaining the clarity you need to make an informed, fearless decision. Relocation clarity. Is relocation right for you? Let us take the mystery out of the relocation process. Mindset can either set you up for greatness or lead you to fear-filled decision-making. Get ready to take back control and gain the confidence in your newfound clarity. Hello, if you have never heard of me or have never met me before, nice to meet you. I am so humbled that you entrusted your relocation clarity to me. It is my passion. I believe that relocation can be an amazing opportunity. Maybe it's for you to be able to heal from trauma, start a new life. It can open up so many doors and you can meet so many new people. But I do believe it is a right way to relocate, and it's definitely a wrong way. And having clarity on your relocation will impact your life in a very positive and meaningful way. So my name is Nigel Lavon. And what I do, I am a relocation research consultant and alignment specialist. I help people align their purpose, talents, and gifts with their relocation. And I also help people research community compatibility and needs and resources to make sure that they're making the relocation decision that is right for them, but also they're not just going in blindsided and they have the research to back it up. Our team at the Relocation Maven has over 25 years of combined experience in domestic U.S. relocation and also 10 years of combined experience in international relocation. We specialize in helping individuals and families with complex needs that require an expert level of relocation research and consulting. We specialize in special needs, medical needs, single parent, multi-generational family relocation, small business relocation, and so much more. Relocation, it is my passion. It is my passion to make an impact, to be able to help you see the future that you can have, but be able to step into your purpose in a meaningful way and take the confusion and the mystery out of the relocation process. This class is going to take the mystery, yes, I say mystery again, out of the relocation process so that you are able to see how doable it is for you. A lot of times we get overwhelmed, right? You get overwhelmed, whether that is 3 hours away or whether it is 8 or 10 or 20 hours across the country. It can be right overwhelming if you don't know how the relocation process works. And it is so much more than just a move. It is more than you finding a place, a home. That is important too, and we'll get to that. But it's more than that, right? It's the mindset. It's your reason why. And everything else will align. Here is the overview of the 3 main parts of the Relocation Clarity class. Number 1, your why, where, and how of your relocation. Part 1 will help you identify your pain points as well as your strengths. It will take a holistic approach to reset your mindset to be able to receive your relocation in a way that will manifest success. As you begin to build positive thoughts filled with confidence in your decision to relocate or to not relocate. Number 2, self-limiting beliefs, triggers, and fears. What is stopping you from living the life you were meant to have? People, places, and things can be the root cause of self-limiting behaviors that trigger self-doubt, which can lead to indecisive decision-making. Your relocation can very well be the step up that your life needs. And number 3, is relocation right for you? Relocating can be a major life decision that can affect family, friends, yourself, and most importantly, your goals and desired lifestyle. Having a clear picture of your needs and wants will help you prepare to make a decision as well as follow through on it. Part 1 is going to dig into the why, where, and how of your relocation. In your workbook, it goes deeper as it shows you the tools you need to figure out your why and how you translate that to where you want to relocate and how you're going to do it. Are you thinking of relocating? The why, where, and how of the relocation, they are critical components. And yes, it's so much in the middle in between, but those are the basic foundational steps. Your why. The why of your relocation. Understanding the why, your why of your relocation is the very first important step to a successful relocation and foundation. It will be your guiding force that will help you weather any situation that may arise. Where? Where do you want to relocate to? Community compatibility is the second step into making sure you relocate to a community, and once you settle in, that it will be the foundation to your new life. And last but not least, the how. How will you relocate? The logistics of a relocation are often last on the list to think about and to secure. Timing is everything. Just as well as knowing how you will relocate can save you time and money. So the why, your why is going to be, it's like a motivator, right? But I don't want it to be an emotionally based motivator because emotions change. You could be happy one minute, sad the next, hopefully not depressed, but you may be depressed. You could be anxious. It's so many different rainbow of emotions that if you base your why on an emotion, the minute that emotion changes to something else, that why will not be strong enough to help you push through when you have obstacles, to push through when you have challenges, to push through when you have negative thoughts, right? To push through if you seep into a bit of a depression, it won't be strong enough. So whether it is an income goal, it's professional, maybe it's your family, maybe it's your peace of mind. It could even be your children. It cannot be emotionally based. So take the emotions out and let your why stand on its own 2 feet. You're aware, community compatibility is almost, if not more important than you actually finding a home, because you're going to find a home once you make that decision to relocate. You're going to find a home. However, that community compatibility is very important. And a lot of times you can be in fantasy land, right? You can be like, oh, I really want to live in the middle of nowhere. I really want to live in the country. But maybe it does not align with your goals. It may not align even with your needs. Especially, think about it. What if you need medical care? What if you need activities for the children? And what if maybe transportation is an issue? So maybe wanting to live in the middle of nowhere and the actual reality, they may not coexist. So that's why doing thorough research, being honest and realistic will help with you navigating what community, setting, region is better for you and will align with you, right? So you're not doing like a tug of war with it because it is a foundation. And then the how. The how is, how are you going to get there? I don't want you to get too wrapped up about this right now because you're still in that finding clarity. Do you really want to relocate? Or you know you want to relocate, but you want to make sure you're doing it for the right reason. So with that being said, put that on the back burner, but don't forget that it's on the stove. So let's talk more about the why. For many of us, asking why to an adult during your childhood was grounds for punishment. It was looked at as if you were questioning authority or seen as disrespect on many levels. Somewhere between being that child and standing up as an adult, the thought of asking yourself why is seen as just too much. Your why is a sense of your being. It will propel you to new heights even when the naysayers and obstacles come at your feet, because they will. Your why will always be the hero you need in the middle of the night when you start to question every decision you made up until this point. Asking yourself why is a strength that will build your confidence much greater than you may have ever expected. Whether your why is as high as a mountain or as small as a mustard seed, it is yours, so own it. Whether you have one why or you have 10 whys, having a why is going to push you even when you feel like you don't want to go. It's going to push you even when things may seem like they may be falling apart. It's going to push you, and it's going to be almost like a foundational hold. It's going to hold you firm. And so it's very important to navigate that and to pinpoint it and identify it really before you get into the, okay, I'm ready to go phase, right? Because I am a firm believer. Your environment may change, but you are going to take you with you wherever you go. So you really want to know why, and you don't want it to be emotionally based or even really based off anyone else. Now we're talking about, I'm telling you how to find a why. You need a why. So I'm going to give you the steps, right? The 5 holistic steps of finding your why. So number 1, I need you to just take a breath. Take a deep breath. Find yourself a place where you can gather your thoughts free from distractions. And don't forget to print out or fill out the digital copy of your workbook. Number 2, I just want you to reflect. But I need you to reflect without putting yourself on a guilt trip when answering these personal and deep questions. Reflect on your life's journey up until this point. And as you think deeply about where you want your life to be and how will the relocation take you there. And this is really critical and key because sometimes when we reflect, we start to think about all the things that didn't work out, right? And we don't really think about the things that did work out. And you can be easily sucked into an emotional cycle that is unhealthy, where self-sabotaging thoughts can kind of creep in. So be really careful when you are reflecting to not instantly put yourself on a guilt trip, because reflecting is not, pointing out maybe all the decisions that you didn't make right, or maybe the people that's in your life shouldn't be in your life, or where you're at right now. It may not be where you want to be, but you need to have a starting point. And self-reflection is key. Number 3, have an open mind. An open mind is allowing the what ifs and maybes that you have been denying yourself. Ask yourself, what do you want? And this question may be really hard, especially if you have a family, right? To be able to put your needs and your wants before theirs. But your needs are so important. And their needs are still important, but your needs and your wants affect how you show up in their life. And a lot of times, we are constantly, I do it myself, whether you're a parent, your spouse, a caregiver, or maybe you're just that person that always thinks about everybody else and you constantly put yourself on the back burner. So I need you to get on the front burner, and we're going to get ready to turn the stove on so that you will be able to start thinking about what you need, what you want, what you desire, putting yourself first, because when you can put yourself first in a healthy way, the way you show up in your emotional relationships, your interpersonal relationships, professional, and also it ties in with your income, you're going to be able to show up better, right? Because you're not going to be like so drained and you're just not doing the self-care you need. And self-care is more than just the bubble bath, even though it's great. It is so much more. It's about you really taking an inventory on what you need and making actionable steps towards gaining it, towards working towards those goals and building yourself back up. Number 4 is evaluation time. I need you to evaluate your pros and cons list, as well as your pre-stressor and post-stressors will need to be evaluated for you to formulate a plan that is in balance with your right now needs and your long-term goals. Again, with your right now needs and your long-term goals, I need you to find a balance. That don't mean it's going to be equally. One might tip the scale, the other might tip the scale. It's a very hard, it's like walking a tightrope almost when trying to really balance the right now needs. Because sometimes those right now needs could be urgent, but they don't necessarily align with your long-term goals. So it's not about getting it perfect, because that's impossible. Because if you try to get it perfect, it won't get done. But just finding a balance and being honest with yourself. And number 5, it's all about taking action. You have a sense of clarity in your decision to relocate or to not relocate. Taking action on your must-to-do steps is an important part of the relocation process if you do choose to relocate. Understanding that follow-through is just as, if not more important than the plan itself. You have to follow through. But when I say take action, you want measurable goals, not just one big goal. Okay, the one big goal is I want to relocate, but it's so many different other goals before you get to that step. And sometimes that we forget that we have to do one goal and then achieve another goal and achieve another one and break it down into manageable, actionable steps. You can start to get overwhelmed. And then that wanting to relocate or that dream or that new opportunity, it may pass you by because of the overwhelm and inaction, because it just seems like it's too much. So remember, when you take action, break it down. Make sure when you are creating your goals in your relocation process that you do not forget about everything else that's going on in your life. That you don't get so super focused on the relocation that you make goals that you just cannot manage because you may have children. You may have a hectic work schedule. Maybe you have a spouse. Maybe you are a caregiver, right? Maybe you have 2 and 3 jobs. Maybe you have a lot of traveling going on. So just being mindful when you make those goals to make sure that you factor in life, to make sure that you factor in your circumstances so that way you're making realistic and manageable and actionable goals. The key to finding your why. It is 5 keys, so I'm going to show you exactly what you need to do and the mindset that you need to have. Key number 1, I need you to write out your personal, family, and financial goals. When writing out these goals, visualize abundance and how relocating can help you achieve them. Say out loud that your personal, family, financial goals will be accomplished with ease as you let go and release any negative energy from within you and around you. I release people, places, and things that do not serve my vision for my life. I release people, places, things that do not serve my vision for my life. Number 2, write down where you are right now in your journey. This question can be tricky as it may lead to self-sabotaging thoughts. If it does, say out loud that you are more than your circumstance and that you release it with ease as you accept change for a new beginning. You are more than your circumstance and that you release it with ease as you accept change for a new beginning. Number 3, write down where you want to be at in your journey. The relocation process, it is a process with many mental, physical, and financial steps that are the building blocks to a successful relocation. Say out loud that your journey will be filled with abundance, clarity, inspiration, that you will move past any challenges you may face in the process. I need you to say it with me again. Your journey will be filled with abundance, clarity, inspiration, and that you will move past any challenges you may face in the process. Number 4, write down any self-limiting beliefs that affect the way you make decisions about your wants and your needs. As you write down your list, say out loud, I am not my self-sabotaging beliefs, and I am limitless in what I can achieve. I am limitless in what I can achieve. My life can be as I truly desire. I let go of the chains that keep my true potential from me. Key number 5, look for common factors and the keys to finding your why. As you analyze the similarities, you will reach the conclusion of your why as you brainstorm your answers to the questions above. Say out loud that I deserve for my heart's desires, family, health, and financial freedom. As I am worthy of abundance, I invite it to enter into my life. So you may be wondering, what does manifestation and you saying these mantras out, what does it mean? It is going to help you reset some things, right? And if you have to say them to yourself throughout the day, you're telling the universe that you're ready, that you are worthy, you accept it, you demand it, and you own it. And a lot of times when we are making that transition, crazy things start to happen. Sometimes it feels like all hell about to break loose, right? You ever work towards a goal and as you get closer to the finish line, this happened and that happens and this happened. And then for some people, they just say, forget it. And you have other people that's going to push through it. But it seems like sometimes when you get closer to your goal, is an obstacle at the obstacle at the obstacle. So being able to have something positive to reference and to be able to not only speak out to the universe, but literally you hear yourself saying these positive things, so you start to believe them, right? And then you start to believe them, so you start to change your thought pattern. So when you have an obstacle come up, right, you have a challenge come up, you're literally able to turn the switch. So instead of thinking negative and start having these self-limiting beliefs and doubts and feeling like you want to give up, you are literally training your mind on how to nip it in the bud and keep going. For all the planners, for the people that love to plan, and for the people that are in the moment action takers, having a well thought out relocation research that is backed up is key to a successful relocation that aligns with your needs, wants, goals, and a desired lifestyle. I like to say a plan without execution is just a pile of papers. And that is so true. So you could take this class as you are. You could even do the workbook. You can gain all the clarity in the world. However, if you do not make actionable, manageable relocation goals and you actually do what's on the to-do list and you make a decisive decision, right? You make that empowered, fearless, decisive decision and actually take physical action, it means nothing. It literally means nothing. Now, with the workbook and with this class, but more so with the workbook, you are going to get some clarity. You're going to get clarity on the people, places, and things that no longer serve you because you're being asked certain questions, and it's up to you to be honest with them and also be able to have an open mind to just accept things are going to be the way they are. You can't change the people or things around you, but guess what you can do? You can take that action and you can change it on yourself. So action is so key, right? Having a plan is great, right? It's giving you that outline, creating that roadmap for you. So that way if you get lost, you don't get too lost, right? You got that roadmap to kind of bring you back on track. So always remember that. A plan without execution is just a pile of papers. So now we get into the good part. We are literally getting ready to talk about the 3 main areas of U.S. relocation within the U.S. So now we start to think about, where do you want to relocate to? So the first U.S. relocation is the in-state relocation. It is defined by relocating an hour or more away from your current location within the same state. Now, if you already live in a really big city, maybe it's not an hour. It could be 2 or 3 hours. But if you live like in a rural part of the country, that hour could be literally called a mini relocation because of the laws, counties, services, and resources, down to taxes and even DMV fees. The second area of relocation in the U.S. will be across state lines. So I like to call this a tri-state relocation. I'm going to give you an example. I'm from Philadelphia. So in Philadelphia, you may be familiar or maybe you're not. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, we have New Jersey and we have Delaware. That is our tri-state. So you literally could go 20 minutes over the Betsy Ross Bridge and be in New Jersey. But that is still considered a relocation because it's a totally different state. Or you could relocate the next state over and be 8 or 9 hours away, depending on how large the state is. So these are neighboring states. Whether you have 2 neighboring states or you have 3 neighboring states, it is a neighboring state, and it literally can be anywhere from 20 minutes from your current location to several hours away in another state. A lot of times people feel this is great because they're not that far from family. They get that new environment. Maybe it might be a lower cost of living, or it may not be a lower cost of living, but it could literally be that you just get paid more. So there are different reasons why a person would want to choose a tri-state across state lines relocation. Last but not least, across the country. This is a big move. This is like if you're going, from the East Coast to the Midwest, or the Midwest to the West, or the Southeast, or to the Dirty South. This is a major relocation. and it's literally hundreds of miles away. So if you decide that you need a different time zone with your relocation, maybe the zip code ain't enough and you need literally a different time zone. This move can be a little bit more complex because there's a greater distance from your current location. Securing housing and finding the right community is a top priority, as the ability to be able to travel back and forth may not be available, especially in this time of COVID, from the little mini state travel bans or the extra testing and things just being closed and not open, and the way that the real estate market is changing from them virtuals, or, you have to have an appointment, or you literally, in some cases, depending on if it is a hot spot, you may just have to kind of do everything online and just hope for the best once you get there. So it takes a little bit more planning. Is it doable? Yes. People relocate all the time. It's very doable, but you have to plan a little bit more than if you were moving an hour away, because maybe you had the ability to travel back and forth and visit, multiple times and different things. But thank God, not just for Google, it's so many different platforms where we really can get the information that we need, right? To be able to make an informed decision. But this is like a major move. And a lot of times it's just better opportunities. People relocate for so many different reasons. And just like you have your own reason for relocating, it's a big deal. And I look at it like this. Sometimes your talents, gifts, and your purpose, they not come into full fruition until you relocate, until you're in a new environment around new people. Every state has its own state culture, the way they do things, the way they talk. They just don't. The way their mannerisms, it's just different. So don't be afraid to look at this as an option. Does it require a little bit more research? Yes, but it could be an amazing opportunity. Next is community compatibility. This area is so important. It equals needs, goals, wants, and your desired lifestyle. So 3 areas of the community compatibility. Number 1, community compatibility. It's more than just a hallmark movie. Next to your mindset is the foundation of your relocation, and understanding how your chosen community will interact with your desired lifestyle and desired outcome is key. So you got your needs, your wants, you have your desired outcome. What are your expectations of the relocation? It all needs to align to make sense. And number 2, aligning with your ideal community, understanding how you can serve your community, as well as what do you require for your community to do for you? Like, what are the needs? What are your needs that you have that your community has to meet? Community is so much more than just a location. It is a place where experiences happen. You make connections. You may meet the love of your life. You may be able to reconnect your family, right? Give your children a better opportunity, or have that professional advancement that you just wouldn't have at your current location. But more importantly, your community is the place where you show up and you show all versions of who you are. Number 3, the reality check. There's always a reality check once you relocate into your chosen community, making sure that your needs, goals, and wants, as well as the desired outcome, are compatible with your new community is key. We all have those aha moments. You can research top to bottom. It can align with your goals, needs, and your wants, and your desired lifestyle. However, you're still going to have the aha moment because it's still a different environment. You have to settle in. You have to, get to know the community. You have to engage into the community. Independent, if you are an introvert, that could be kind of hard. Or if you're super, super social, being able to navigate through this COVID-19 situation, that can be a little bit difficult. But it's all doable. But just know you're going to have that aha moment. Now, I'd rather that aha moment be, oh my God, I made an amazing decision. I'm super excited. I could really see, my life going up from here. I'd rather you have that aha moment than you have I'm stressed out. I'm about to pull out my hair. What did I do? How did I get here? you start thinking about things that happened 20, 30 years ago, aha moment. So that's why community compatibility is key. The keys to finding your new community. Number one, you're ready to relocate. You may even have an ideal city, town, semi-rural, or even off-the-grid community setting in mind. Ask yourself, how will this new community serve you and your purpose? Are you able to be able to express your gifts and talents? Are there opportunities professional-wise, whether it be you starting your own business, hobbies, sports, the things that really make you who you are they in your community or in a close by community? Number two, is your new location similar to your current community? And if so, write things about your current community that does not serve you or your purpose anymore. Ask yourself, what self-limiting thoughts do you have about your current community? So if you are moving from one big city to another big city, unless you are literally moving because you're transferring or you found your dream job and that really is your why of wanting to move, it's something about your current community that you don't like. It's not vibing with you. You can't connect. You're not, achieving those goals that you set out. Or maybe it just may be trauma there. So really list those things that you just are non-negotiables that you want to get away from. That way, if you do choose to move to another city, another major city, or whether it be a small town or off-grid, that you can make sure that you are navigating around that and being very aware so that way you don't move into that same environment that you're trying to get away from or that you want to, have a fresh start from. And number three, whether you have chosen the exact city or town or narrowed it down to a region, you have to make sure that your new community aligns with your purpose as well as with you and or your family needs. Ask yourself, will your community give you at least 80% of what you require? 80%. You're probably like, what is 80%? I know that you have heard of the 80-20 rule. People talk about it in relationships. People talk about it, maybe for jobs, maybe for income. But this 80-20%, your 80% is your 100 when it comes to community compatibility. And that extra 20% is like a cherry on top. It's extra. So you want to make sure that you're at least getting your 80, right? And when you have more than one person relocating, so whether it's you and your spouse or you have, a family, especially if you're like a single mom or a single dad, it's super important that you realize that you may not be able to get 80% for each family member, but you need to look at it like you're going to get 80% as a whole. So that 80 is your 100%. So you want to kind of really make sure that your needs, your must-haves, if it's medical, if it's educational, if it's employment, if it's income, if it's small business opportunity, right? You want to make sure that it aligns at least 80% of what you need and what you want in your desired lifestyle. Number 4, creating a needs versus wants as well as a pros and cons list will help you figure out what you truly need. Tip, looking into a region and see how it fits as well is so key. You are not stuck to a certain community and may find that you love the area, but maybe it's just not the blocks you moved on. Remind yourself about the 80-20 rule. When the community can give you 80%, that is your 100%, and the extra 20% is a cherry on top. So when we talk about region, I'm literally talking about it might be a city. It might be, you like that county, but maybe just the block that you moved on, it may not make sense. Maybe that, that neighborhood within that community. Maybe you wanted more of a family, environment, or maybe you're single and you really want to be where it's going on, where it's happening in a community where it's like other singles. So maybe that you won't be single, you never know. Or you could be doing an internship, an externship, be a college grad. You can be doing so many different things that you want to kind of make sure that community, or at least that region, can give you what you need. So that way, if you're like, you know what, I want to move, I like the area, but maybe you don't like your apartment, or maybe you kind of outgrew your block, you don't have to go through that whole relocation process all over again unless that's what you truly want. But you're able to say, you know what, I really do like this community, but I like it on this side better. Or maybe I like it over there, or maybe across town, or maybe on that side of the county, or even you can look in the counties surrounding it. Because depending on where you are, it may be an hour away, it may be 30 minutes away, or you literally could be, across the county line, or, in neighboring little cities and towns. So think about that. Not just your chosen community, but what is surrounding that. Just in case you decide that, you like the area, but you want a different neighborhood. And number 5, in your research phase of the relocation process, you may come up with many choices. Yes, it is great to have choices. However, too many choices will leave you distracted, confused, and even fearful. It also creates indecisiveness in the process. Indecisiveness will kill your goals because you will not be able to act, because you will be thinking about all the choices that's in front of you. So the tip that I have for you, pick a state and then a region within a state. Next, you want to pick 2 to 3 areas to research. Then you want to settle on one area and then research 2 neighborhoods within the area. Then you decide on your chosen location. If you pick 10 states, then you pick 2 and 3 areas within the state, then you pick 20 neighborhoods, maybe exaggerate a little bit, but I am trying to prove a point. You're going to be all over the place. And nobody wants to be on Google, for a year, right? Trying to figure it out. Nor unless that is your plan to, travel to 100 different places just to figure out where you want to relocate to. So just keep that in mind. Your new community is waiting for you. At this point, you're most likely thinking of ways you will get to your new community. I need you to take a moment and breathe, because I'm about to take a moment and breathe. Yes, think about it, but don't let it consume you. You're in the relocation readiness/clarity phase, overthinking how you're going to get you and or your family to your new community. It can leave you feeling helpless and even fearful, to the point you start to think that relocation can't be done. So, yes, you want to think about how you're going to get there. But that shouldn't be the first thought. It will come up once you have made your decision, once you gain the clarity. Because once you gain the clarity and you work through some things, you're going to really kind of figure out what type of relocation it is for you. It could be, you know what, we're going to pack the U-Haul up, or we're going to get the movers and we're just going to take everything and just move it to a different location. Or it really could be about you just downsizing and really taking a look at where you want your life to be and maybe even starting fresh. At this point, I need you to let your desires be so big that they push you into your purpose. Someone once said, I don't really remember the person, but I know I heard it. It didn't come from me. You have to dream so big that it scares you. You have to dream so big that it's unbelievable to the next person. You have to just dream big, right? And if it doesn't scare you, it's just your dreams is not big enough. So I need you to start thinking about what type of relationships you want to have, what type of professional, you want to have a small business, what type of, that emotional relationship you want to have with yourself or your higher being. You really want to think about those things and just go hard and dream big, because you have a purpose. Reality check. Yes, we all need a reality check, as is a way to make sure that we have the check and balances from the moment you decide to settle into your new community. So you're going to have multiple reality checks, right? You have the clarity reality check, you'll have the readiness reality check, then you'll have the finding your community reality check, then you're going to have the you need to find a place, a home reality check, then you're going to have, the moving company reality check, you're going to have the financial reality check, and then you want to have the settle in reality check. But right now, we're going to focus on, at this moment, it's really critical that you really start to think about your why. You want to be able to figure out, what are your pain points? What are the reasons why you feel as though it is time for you to relocate? Whether you have one or you have a million, you just really need to think about those core pain points. Identify your stressors. What stresses you out, right? Not, your normal stress. Stress is not always a bad thing, right? Because the way your body reacts to things, it makes you be more on point on things that you need to be on point. But I'm talking about those things that no matter what you do, they just stress you out. And it may just be outside of you. It could be something in your environment. It could literally be a relationship, right? It could literally be maybe the place that you're living in currently. Or it could be your job, or just the lack of you having the income to do the things that you want to do. So think about that. Don't forget, think about and identify your strengths. If you need to draw it out, write it out, sing it out, dance it out, you have strengths. The fact that you made the decision to invest in yourself and take a relocation clarity class and do the workbook and dig deep, you have some strength, right? You didn't make it this far without some strength. Then I need you to identify, what is your 80%. Remember what I said about the 80-20 rule. Your 80% is your 100. It's going to be composed of needs, wants, goals, and desired lifestyles. Part 2. The moment when you realize who, what, and where that have weighed you down, and you realize where it's coming from. This part is really going to talk about self-limiting beliefs, people, places, and things that no longer serve you, right? And as you go through this part with the class, and then you really start to work through them areas in the workbook, you're going to be given the tools, you're going to be asked questions that will help you break it down. Identify what is holding you back as you push towards your purpose. The reset of self-limiting beliefs. Self-limiting beliefs. Release beliefs that do not serve you. The view that you have of yourself in your current situation in life is the catalyst of your mindset. The ability to stop and even eliminate self-sabotaging thoughts can be a game changer in your relocation and, even more importantly, your life. Everyone has some type of a self-limiting belief. And if you suffer from anxiety, like I do, like I'm being so honest and open, right? I suffer from anxiety myself. It comes from self-limiting beliefs. It comes from trauma and, life, right? I feel like if you over a certain age, you didn't experience life. However, the ability to be able to start to release those thoughts and those beliefs about yourself, and not to say that it's going to happen overnight or you're going to be 100% okay all of the time. That is so not realistic. But for me, I think the key for me is being able to identify it and nip it in the bud. So that way you don't start to go down a rabbit hole. Because a lot of times, those self-limiting beliefs, they come from trauma. They come from experiences, right? Good, better, and indifferent. And you can start with a limiting belief. And then before you know it, you 20 years, like you didn't, your mind then went 20 years like back. You think about things that happen as, in your childhood or, whatever life stage that self-limiting belief first occurred in. So learning how to just release those thoughts. I'm not saying that it's easy. And it's not super hard. It's just the willingness to be able to identify and figure out where you're at in your self-limiting belief cycle and being able to nip it in the bud so that way you can move on to the next healthier thought. the reset of limiting self triggers, right? Triggers, those are one of those things. It can be people, places, and things. So realizing people, places, and things that serve no purpose in your journey. The company you keep influences your life, even when you may not realize it. This includes toxic family members, friends, or places that drain your energy. And what I mean by drain your energy, anything positive that you try to do is they always find something negative. It could be toxic family members that just is always about them, right? They can be narcissistic. It could be places. It could be things that maybe, bring out behaviors in you that you're trying to let go and get rid of. And understand this, your relocation process, your relocation decision is going to trigger some things in people. It may trigger happy feelings. It may trigger somebody being so happy for you, but it may trigger people being jealous, right? Or them placing their fears, their self-limiting beliefs onto you. Maybe because they did it and it was horrible, or they never did it, or maybe they think that you can't do it. But again, everything is their thoughts, what they've been through, and it's not about you. So understand that you're going to trigger some shit. But don't let how you trigger other people by you bettering your life and making this decision to start new, to start fresh, to have, new experiences in your life. Don't let that basically interject into your thoughts.